As we learned in the previous lesson, that ma is such a flexible word which can have different meanings when used separately, but also one possible meaning when it is attached to another word. And that can be quite challenging for beginners who are trying to understand the Quranic Arabic script. We discussed many solutions to this problem in that lesson, the most flexible word in the Quran. So make sure you check it out to make the best out of this lesson. As we have established last lesson, a combined ma will almost always mean which or that, plus whatever you add to it. So as an example, fima consists of fi, which means in, and ma meaning which or that. And therefore, the whole combination would mean in which. But sometimes the alif at the end of an attached ma is removed. And when this happens, then ma, in this case, will turn into a question word. And it would always mean what, plus whatever preposition you add to it. And today we'll tackle these combinations when the alif is removed at the end of ma, and we're going to see what they mean and how we can recite them properly. So let's get started. And the first combination that we're going to look at is bi plus ma. As we have learned last time that bi means with, and when we add it to ma, we will have the normal combination of bima, which means with which. However, if the alif at the end of ma is removed, the meaning of the combination will change into with what, as in a question. And we see it used in these examples. وَإِنِّي مُرْسِلَةٌ إِلَيْهِمْ بِهَدِيَّةٍ فَنَاظِرَةٌ بِمَ يَرْجِعُ الْمُرْسَلُونَ. Another example. قال أبشرتموني على أن مسني الكبر فبم تبشرون. Now here is a very important thing that you have to pay attention to, which is not to extend the fatha at the end of bima, because if you do so, you will change the meaning of the word. And to understand what I mean, let's compare how bima sounds like to bima that has alif at the end of it. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ فَنَاظِرَةٌ بِمَ يَرْجِعُ الْمُرْسَلُونَ. As for bima that has alif at the end of it, it contains a natural mad. Natural mad requires that you would extend it for 2 harakat. So you would say bima. But bima, without the alif, it does not contain any mad whatsoever. So it will have to be without any mad. And therefore you would say bima. So that's why we say bima yarji' versus bima unzil. So you have to pay attention, otherwise it would change the meaning of the ayah. Next is the combination of an plus ma. And we learned that an means about, and when it is added to ma, it would normally give us about which. But if the alif at the end of this combination is removed, we will end up with this combination, amma. And it means about what. And it is used only one time in the Holy Quran in Surah An-Naba. And we see it in this example. عَمَّ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. Now notice the difference between amma without the alif and amma with alif at the end of it. وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ عَمَّ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. And pay attention not to make the most common mistake here, which is extending the fatha longer than you should. So it should not sound like that. عَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. because then it would change the meaning of the ayah and you will say something completely different. Next is the combination of fi plus ma. Fi means in, and as it is, the combination would mean in which, but when we remove the alif at the end of it, it will turn into in what as a question. And we see it used in these examples. إن الذين توفاهم الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيم كنتم يسألونك عن الساعة أيان مرساها فيم أنت من ذكراها. The same warning is not to mix up between fima without the alif and fima that has alif at the end of it. Notice and try to hear the difference between both of them in this example. فالله يحكم بينهم يوم القيامة فيما كانوا فيه يختلفون فيما أنت من ذكراها فيما كانوا فيه يختلفون. Can you hear the difference? Now let's move to the next combination, which is the combination of min plus ma, which gives us normally mimma, and it means from which. But when we remove the alif at the end of it, it will give us from what, mimma. And it is mentioned only one time in the Holy Qur'an in Surah At-Tariq, and we see it in this example. فَلْيَنظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. Now compare it to mimma with alif at the end of it and try to hear the difference. وَفَوَاكِهَ مِمَّا يَشْتَهُونَ فَلْيَنظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. It is therefore wrong to say فَلْيَنظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. This is not correct, and it should be مِمَّا خُلِقَ. The last combination that we'll be talking about today is the combination of li plus ma, which normally gives us lima, which means for which. But when we remove the alif at the end, it will give us for what. And for what is also another word for why. And we see it used in these examples. وَإِذْ قَالَتْ أُمَّةٌ مِّنْهُمْ لِمَ تَعِظُونَ قَوْمًا اللَّهُ مُهْلِكُهُمْ. Another example. عَفَى اللَّهُ عَنْكَ لِمَ أَذِنْتَ لَهُمْ. And now to hear the difference, I will give you one more example with lima, with alif at the end of it. استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم لما أذنت لهم لما يحييكم. So what we've learned so far about ma is when ma is separated, it would mean not, what as a question word, or which or that as a relative pronoun. And there are two methods that we can use in order to figure out which meaning is which. And when ma is attached to another word, it will almost always mean which or that as a relative pronoun, plus whatever you add to it. But when the alif at the end of an attached ma is removed, then it will always mean what as a question word, plus whatever preposition you add to it. And as per usual, make sure you check out the description for the PDF file for this list, and also a printer-friendly version if you want to print it out. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learned something new today. If you did, please like and share the video for other people to learn from it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next lesson.